Okay. Hi. Good evening, everyone. You've already had the introduction. So yes, the mobile world is really fragmented, and it's getting more fragmented every day. And as it's getting more fragmented every day, the measurement is getting even more difficult every day. Pratham spoke a lot about last click, and that used to be the norm maybe some 10 years back, but not anymore. And therefore, things are getting a lot more complicated. Let me sort of, put some context. So, just a couple of weeks back, I was sitting at a doctor's clinic, and while I was waiting, I was doing the usual, browsing, all my social media stuff, and see one of my friend was chilling somewhere in the hills, and that reminded me that I need to book my weekend holiday as well. And because they tagged the hotel, I managed to get on the hotel's Facebook page, and I saw some pictures, looked nice, but I don't really trust this guy, this friend of mine. I don't trust his choice. So I go onto Google, start searching, go onto the hotel, go onto a web page which has more information about the hotel. Then it takes me to TripAdvisor. I figure out that hey, a lot of other people have said a lot of positive things about it. I said, okay, time to book it. I go on my favorite travel app, and I book it, right? The moment I book it, I get a WhatsApp saying that, hey, do you need a cab? And I was like, oh yeah, last time when I went in that area, the roads were really broken. I must take the cab. So I take the cab also. By the time the doctor is ready to see me. What really has happened here is that I've been through a journey which is, already fairly complex. Now, the question that I have here for you guys is that who really made me make that decision? Was it my friend who sort of initiated that thought in my mind? Was it the hotel Facebook page or TripAdvisor? Or, should we give some credit to Google? Or, for the cab, maybe Make My Trip did a good job there. What's really happening here is that this journey is, because the journey is very complex, it's important that you look at all the touch points in the journey and not just look at one end that hey, this is how the final conversion happened. And for that, it's important to intervene at the right time. I don't know, maybe the hotel page was a SEO page from Make My Trip, right? It could be. So that was probably one intervention. The second intervention that they did was through TripAdvisor. I could see them there as well. So you have to figure out the right kind of interventions. Maybe I was looking for more information there, and that's the time I needed some handholding, and it helped. The other thing that in this entire story, in this entire experience, was also important is that this whole cab thing that came in at the right time. I had not thought about it. But they thought about it, and they almost double guessed my intent and probed me to book it, and I did. But to do all of this, they obviously have all the right tools in place, right? Because if they don't have the right tools in place, then they'll not be able to track me. They'll not be able to give me do the right kind of interventions, or convert me at the right kind of right point of time. But all of this wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have a positive, I was not positively motivated towards using Make My Trip. So there is obviously the good old brand consideration, which has a very important role to play. No matter, you obviously have to track all the clicks and measure everything. But at the end of the day, if the guy is not, if your brand is not in his consideration set, he's eventually not going to convert. Let's just make the journey a little more complex. What if I didn't have the app? What if I didn't have the Facebook app? So I wouldn't have booked it at that point of time, and maybe gone back again, maybe searched for a few more hotels and say, hey, I'm not satisfied with just looking at one hotel. Let me go out and check a few more hotels. Then Google would have probably pushed me another ad, which would have again taken me to the website. And what if I didn't book? And then Facebook pushed me another ad, which took me onto the Play Store. And then finally, I downloaded the app. I would have downloaded the app and then made the booking. Now here again, there are multiple guys who've been trying to get me, and it's not that you can't say that none of them worked or which one worked. And what Pratham was talking about is exactly this kind of situation. Do you want to say, hey, it's the last click that you want to attribute this sale to, or do you want to attribute it to all the guys? How do you sort of go about doing it? Because clearly all of them did their stuff that they had to do, did their bit, and made some contribution towards the final conversion. So in this whole story, what really stands out for me is, while everybody is trying hard, this whole mobile world, what it has done is that it has changed the way people behave. The fact that I was sitting in a clinic and I wanted to make the transaction then and there is a huge behavioral change. And this behavioral change, to get things right then and there, get the instant gratification, the brands have to live up to it. You have to fulfill that need, then and there. 10 years back when it was, 15 years back when it was only PC, then, I remember the peak traffic hours for us used to be Wednesday between 12 to 4 in the afternoon. Not anymore. Now people are there, people have the devices with them all the time, and you want to do it right then and there. So, it's important that the brands understand all of this. And I mean, there are studies which are saying that the mobile phone is helping them feel more confident, it's helping them de-stress themselves. So it's not that, there is an impact happening at the human behavior level, and obviously this impact is coming in their purchase behavior as well, which is why you see that most of the people, around 50+ people, are saying that they look down upon brands who don't have a very good mobile site or app in this case. So it's clearly, mobile is something that you have to, so you cannot get away from this fragmented world. You have to be present here. So again, this is something that we need to figure out, that the whole last click bit is gone. And in fact, Branch has a very interesting solution for this, which they use is basically, they merge the cookies and GIDs and sort of make a persona, which then helps, in doing people-based attribution. And therefore, that who is coming from where and what's been the journey like, and what are the important sort of milestones in the journey, and and how you should go about, investing in future. Another important thing when it comes to attribution is what should be the right period of attribution. For some businesses, 1 day is good. For some businesses, maybe 30 days is good. So there is no formula for it. I've heard this question from some people saying that, hey, what is the right period of attribution? Should we take 1 day? Because one platforms obviously offer their own attribution windows, and that's good. But you got to decide it for your business. In your business, what is the purchase cycle like? If you don't, because it cannot be, a car cannot have the same purchase cycle and therefore not a similar attribution window versus maybe a headphone, right? So you have to decide what is your attribution window. The other and probably the more important thing is figuring out the LTV for each journey and each source. It's possible that they are getting certain users from a certain source which have much higher LTV, much higher retention rate compared to the others. So we used to experience this in my previous assignment, that Facebook typically used to give us users who had much higher retention than other sources. Not saying that other sources are not relevant, other sources are probably cheaper, but we still prefer to invest money on Facebook because it gave us certain kind of audience who had much higher retention rate. So you got to figure that out for yourself. Which channel do you want to, which medium do you want to use, and what's the journey that you want the user to take? And depending on that, then you can decide, how do you want to spend your marketing dollars. So clearly in this mobile world, app is the most talked about topic. Everybody seems to be in agreement that, hey, you gotta have a good app, you gotta have everything going. But mobile marketing is not, let's not confuse that it's only about app. You gotta decide for yourself that, do you really need an app? Do you really want everybody to move on to the app? Because maybe app is not the best thing for you, right? maybe for your business, you don't need, the frequency of purchase is not such, the frequency of usage is not such that you can retain people, you can engage people, and therefore keep coming back. This is like a debate, ongoing debate with most of the businesses, and everybody tries to follow the herd and say, hey, we need to have an app, and let's move everybody onto the app, because that's where we can give richer experience. Of course, you can give richer experience, but does that really help your business, or do you really need it for a business? So I think you need to answer this question before you get onto app. But once you have made up your mind that yes, you need an app, then you need to start building traffic. One of the ways that we build, while we do acquire people directly onto the app as well, but there's a whole lot of traffic that we get on the web, both on the M side as well as on the website. And it's general consumer behavior. You really can't do much about it. There are brands in India who have tried to shut down their website and asked and thought that people will be forced to go on the app, and later realize that no, that's not happening. What you can do, however, is keep on trying to move people from one platform to a platform which is better, which is more engaging, which is higher retention, which gives you better value. We obviously always keep trying to doing this. So from our M site, okay, it's a little too bright, but from M site, one of the ways we do is we keep on putting these smart banners which are linked to the app, and tell people about what are the other things that they can do on app. The other thing that we do is that we create specific offers, and we nudge people to move to the app, saying that, hey, on the M site, you're only going to get X. But if you move on to the app, you might get X plus 1. And that's something that really works well for us, because, but it doesn't necessarily work for everyone, not for all consumers, but it works for a percentage of consumer. So you got to try multiple things. One might work with one set of consumers, the other solution will work with the other set of consumers. There are a whole bunch of consumers who want, even if there's a 10 rupee cashback, they don't mind downloading an app. But then there are other people who don't want one more app in their phone, and therefore they will not download. They'll continue to keep coming on the M site and doing it. The other thing that we do to convert people and to move people from web to app is we restrict the access of certain features. So the M site primarily has the function of payment. You can make payments through Freecharge. But the moment you want to get into deals, the moment you want to get into other financial services, you got to get into the app. And that's where, and we use deferred deep links so that we can sort of measure it and get him right onto the page where he wanted. So if he wanted to get onto the let's say a deals page, and that's how we got him onto the Play Store, then we'll directly land him onto the deals page. So that's what these are some of the things that we do, and there are a few other things that we do, like we obviously send a whole lot of SMSs and emailers. In today's day and age, still works. That's surprising to me, but take my word, it works for us, and hopefully it will work for a lot of other folks as well. So what we've seen is that the mobile world is fairly complex. Thankfully, there are solutions. There are things that you can measure, and not like this gentleman here from some 100 years back. And this is the state. This was the state. This is how things used to be, where people used to spend money and they didn't know what it's giving them. Now at least we have stuff where we can measure. You got to just try hard. Yep. Thank you.